Peace, y'all. We made it. Have you ever thought about life being like a deck of cards? Playing the hand of chance. I'm just playing the hand I was dealt, so to speak. What if we change that mindset and really kind of take on the notion of life being like a canvas and you're the artist, and in this particular canvas being blank, you can add what you will to your masterpiece. Okay, those are two different energies. Those are two different points of views, two different perspectives. Playing the hand that you was dealt, that's sort of kind of rooted, in my experience, rooted in a demographic of struggle or some form of despair. Whereas though you identify with your journey up into a certain point, or could be your present moment, as being somewhat you know by chance. And by chance, you're really actually questioning what it would have been like if you would have had more favorable of circumstances, that in which we can look back on and say, that was a rough spill for me. Had it been for that private school, or that those rich parents, maybe I wouldn't have had to go through certain things that I went through. The problem is with that is you wouldn't have been at this present moment, or who said you would have made it in completion of the past days that led up to this very moment. I say that to say, if we could draw and in on canvas, canvas, you got artists that paint, that paint on canvas, right? If we look at, shift our mindset to to put in, or like a vision board, and that sort of ideology, right? The idea of playing life by chance, and things happen to me, is more of things happening for me, as long as I can kind of use my mind as a map, in order saying, okay, this is what I see. I'm going after this. I'm going in this direction. You understand? Versus me having to take, for lack of better words, me having to take this road because of some circumstance that I may kind of lean on as a pillar, as a excuse almost. And because that's sort of like what that is. I'm just playing the hand I was dealt. And it's sort of like the same story with that. You're not able to accomplish a high, or overachieve because of certain circumstances, and that becomes a belief. Like the last video, that becomes a belief of yours, and so you're creating with the belief that life is going a certain way. Is it's the hand you was dealt. Now, I could say that's not 100%. How can I say that? I can say that playing the hand that you was dealt is actually coming from a growth, a point of growth, and a point of experience, right? That is good to a degree, but it can't be used as an excuse. Not to be used as an excuse. Meaning, if the storyline is I had to I didn't have nobody to lean on, so far as to give me an edge, financially to, start my own company, right? I had to work. I had to work, and I had to, make sacrifices. I had to, not, I had to be missing on the scene, for some years. I couldn't, go and vacation, and when everybody was out doing their, getting married and doing the certain things, I took all my earnings and I invested it in this company that I believed in, and I saw it before it happened, and I knew what I needed to do to go get there, and it wasn't easy, right? Now, playing that particular hand, or playing that hand that you was dealt, in order to grow and to, use that as gas to fuel your own future, right? To financial freedom, or just freedom, point blank, flat out, right? That's not the same as, saying, that's inspiring, and there's truth in it. We're not referring to that. I'm referring to, life doesn't happen to you by chance, and the point in this video is, let's shift that mindset, have a mindset shift. And it's a few tools that I like to, talk about during this video, to make it more like a canvas, and you're painting your own masterpiece, and your masterpiece is your mind, and that highest version of yourself. You ever think about what it is that you what it is that you like, right? What it is that you like, and what it is that you don't like. All right. Sort of like, I remember back when I was younger, my dad told me, you'll become, in your older, as you grow and you become older, an adult and a man, you need to be able to write down, your desires and your passions, and be able to make a list and draw a line down the middle of it. And on one side, you have the things that you like and the things that you dislike. All right. And then you have the things that, it tells your story when you see it. It tells you a story of who it is that you really are. All right. These lines is a difference. Same thing. That's the difference between, your higher self and your lower self. Writing what's good for you versus what's bad for you. In that same regard, it does some. It takes some inner. I don't want to say inner work, but of course everything is inner. Everything's work. Everything's healing. Everything. This is fruition. We made it. You understand? It's an opportunity to grow and to expand and to work on self. It starts with self. You understand? Outside of circumstances, outside of, the suggestion of what belief and what God and what this being is about, right? You have to understand that circumstances, by chance does it rain today? Okay, by chance it rains or snow. I take it any way I can get it, right? But when it comes down to you, I don't want to say reaching a goal rather, but living the way that you want to live, or living the way that you're supposed to live, requires the vision first. Okay. And you can write that out literally on a piece of paper and paint your canvas. And that masterpiece is the way that you're supposed to be living. And in my experience, that's exactly the way it's been. Whether you're aware of it or not, I'm talking hindsight's 2020. I've gotten everything in my life that I've asked for, that I wanted. Now, stand to reason, right? What I wanted, you may not want, right? And for the money, not everything. I'm not saying everything. Let me rephrase that. I can look back and everything that I literally focused in on. This is no spookism, right? Everything that I literally focused in on and really focused in on and really wanted with, attached to, wanted that. It could have been it could have been a particular it could have been a particular car that I saw myself driving. It could have been a particular place that I've wanted to go. It could have been, a certain, a partner that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of of living a certain kind of way, right? All I can, down to the point in where I actually was doing the thing that I saw myself wanting to do. It's kind of didn't realize I was doing it then, but you can tap into a frequency and you can get that. And I wasn't writing it down on a vision board. I wasn't, but I was emotionally connected to the vibration. It was emotion. Pardon me again. It was like an emotional connection to that vibration, emotional enough to actually bring that closer into the reality, and where that thing, like I said, materializes and crystallizes and becomes fruition, and you manifested that thing, right? And as far as I can remember, it's been like that. Now, where was I did I have understanding, doing those things? No. No. And it wasn't by chance those things came in my life. So I say to you, the point in this video is, if your perspective of life is entirely based on, and I'm saying this colloquially, right? If it's based on by chance playing, like a deck of cards, life is just like that, I'm a pluck and this is, I got to jack this hand, boom, and you playing it like that, you should try to switch your mindset, and take on a different mentality and look at it more as, life is like a blank canvas, okay? And you're painting, you're working on your masterpiece. And you're only going to put the things in that masterpiece, or put the things on canvas that that you decide, and you do the work, and you really sit with self and meditate on and say, this will be good for me. I want to achieve this, and I want to live this kind of way, and I should be in a position to do these kind of things because it's righteous. That's the best way I could say it right now, because it's righteous. And that's the way we should be, attacking. That's the way we should be attacking, really living life. It's not even about being in competition on what someone else is doing. But when you look at it, in that regard, and I can look back and I try, I don't live in the past. That's a past self. If you kind of, on the type time and on the level that I'm understanding I have now, that's just a past life. It's not. I'm not living that anymore. So I don't need that like what I thought I needed before. Even the flow, the certain kind of way that I used to flow, right? And I hope this is helpful for one of you out there. Just take a minute and really sit back and just look and think about what it is I'm making out of life, and not wasting a lot of time. Life is about living. Live up, and live it in the moment. Be happy in the moment. And I'm not saying that everything goes my way. I'm not saying that. It's going to be the next challenge after the next challenge. You know what I mean? After this fork in the road, it's going to be other forks in the road. And when you come to the fork in the road, you have to make a choice. You got to make a decision. And the power in the decision is actually to make the choice. That's the power in the decision. you're making a choice. Let life touch you. Just don't let life hurt you. Try not to let life hurt you. You want to get touched by life. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not reading this in no book, giving it up like that, but it's just really be free, and you don't have to fear anything. Work on your masterpiece. We us men, men and women, we got families, people that we're responsible for and care for, things like that. But it's a beautiful thing when you think about it, because everyone has their own masterpiece that they're working on. You gotta let them work on theirs. I want the best for my brothers and my sisters. I want the best for my family, for my children. I want the best for my children. I can only control the part that I play in it, though. I have to be the best me for that. And that's the beautiful thing, because whenever it happens, right, it's gonna happen. And then the beginning, it's the beginning, truly wonderful, man. It's always the beginning, simultaneously with the end of something, it's the beginning of something else. I never talked to nobody that passed this farm and not here anymore, right? In the physical, right? But it's my understanding that's the beginning, and the masterpiece is or the mindset is canvas, masterpiece versus deck of cards and chance. It's no coincidences. It's two things that's coinciding at the same time. It's no coincidence. You know what I mean? Or is that a coincidence? But yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing when it just and then certain things from the attachment part of it, right? When expanding or outgrowing a situation or a part of life, you're growing older, your body is moving different, man. I was so stiff, man, getting stiff, after, waking up. It's like, yeah, you embrace certain things, and it's not like you got to get rid of the, my chiropractor, like, yeah, you don't get, you know the game. So when you know the game, you're better. You can play the game smarter. Do you have to actually move as fast and work as harder now that you know the game? And that really hit different. That really hit different for me, because, I concur with that statement, because it doesn't require you. It's you embrace another. It's like you unlock another level to the game. All my people that salute that is gamers. Shout out Bird, man. The UPC. You know what I mean? When you know what I mean. NPC, pardon me, the non-playable character, right? When you unlock that unlock that next level, and you're going on to that that higher level, right? You're playing at another level of expertise. The mission, it changes. It's more challenging, but the things that used to be challenging ain't nothing now. I'm doing that work in the back of my head. I don't have to do the physical. You can watch somebody working crazy hard physically on that thing right there, and you say, nah, that ain't. I got that. I know what to do with that. You don't even got to cut as hard. You know what to do. So again, it's like you embrace I'm embracing challenges. We gotta embrace. Just embracing life. It's not even challenge. You embrace life as a challenge. We embracing life, man. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy to be here, man. For real, man. Just have it when you detach from the old. I want to say the old copy or the old version, that old identity. The confrontation isn't real. Just understand that's the brain attempting to attach or run back or retreat back to what it deems being safe, if that makes sense, right? It's a confrontation of your identity when your brain is still attempting to attach to the past identity or the past self or the past ego all being one and the same, right? While we have to become something that we've never been before to bring this canvas, this art, this work of art, this masterpiece on canvas to life, into fruition, to manifest that in which, what we didn't deem as by chance, but more so what we're going to bring in fruition, our masterpiece, our highest version of ourselves. And that's what we need to do. We have to detach from the old or that expired, out of date that used to move a certain kind of way. Because, reminder, when we wake up in the morning, truly, truly blessed to be here and to live it, when you feel that little stiffness and that little, that just stiffness, you want to call it stiffness, right? That coming of age is like, yeah, that we got the opportunity to do it, to grow some more. We got the opportunity to grow even further, take it even further. So we don't have to do it the same way that we're used to doing it, and that's just the brain saying, oh man, let's keep, that life wasn't so bad, but let's just do it the same way. Let's, bang our head against the wall and just try to do it, fast like we used to do it, and better. Because, we're creating with something else. We're creating with a vision now of something that we're not even, the confrontation is we don't have the emotional connection with the version that we haven't been before yet, right? So we're trying to bring that and close the gap in on it. And that requires we're using something else. We're using vision. You know what I'm saying? We're using frequency and vibrations. We're using that power stuff. We're using that God stuff, to get there. But hey, man, I'm gonna drag it all the way out, man. I'm Drew. It's truly wonderful, man. I hope everybody have a great everything. Peace.